These are the intramuscular kits. And in each kit, you'll find 2 doses of naloxone, 2 syringes for administration. And these are intramuscular syringes, and they're different than intravenous syringes. So
it's kind of like an EpiPen.
Absolutely, sort of like an EpiPen. I like that language because it's safe and everybody is okay with EpiPens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, people know EpiPens.
Yes. And then also we put information inside of here. And the great thing about this information is it has phone numbers to reach our organization for someone to get a new kit. It has a summary of the 911 Good Samaritan Law in North Carolina, and it also has, my favorite part, picture illustrations of how to recognize and respond in the event of an overdose. Okay, so I encourage everyone, like if you get a kid, to take it out, read over it, and don't wait until the emergency occurs, because that's a really tough time to read. So just get familiar with it and familiar with what's inside the kit, like once you get one. So that way, in the event you have to respond to an overdose, you're a little bit more comfortable.
Makes sense.
All right, so in the event of an overdose, you're going to look for, and it tells you the things to look for. Unresponsiveness, the person will not be breathing. They may be blue in color or gasping for air, okay? If they're unresponsive, a great way to see if it's not like they're intoxicated or it's an overdose is to do a sternal rub. Have you ever done one of those before?
I have not.
So your sternum is located in between your breasts. For a sternal rub, you're going to make a fist friction on there. Yes. And you realize that that's kind of uncomfortable, right? So if a person is responsive and you do this to them, they'll react in some form or fashion. If a person is indeed experiencing an overdose, they're not going to respond, and then you'll know it's time to move into all the necessary steps to reverse the overdose. Okay, after you complete the sternum rub, the next thing you can do, thanks to the North Carolina Good Samaritan Law, is call 911. That protects the victim and the caller. Okay, and that gives legal immunities to the victim and the caller.
And that includes a caller who's ingested drugs or something.
Absolutely.
Like that.
We encourage everyone to use their real name when they call dispatch. Yeah. And this is because first responders aren't always going to be people who are just in the community or people who are at these restaurants, or, you know, there might be other people who were using drugs right along with the person who is experiencing the overdose.
Yeah.
So that's important that they have the power to do all they can to save their mates. And there's no fear there. That sometimes led people to make those split decisions of rolling people out at emergency rooms or leaving them in hotel rooms by themselves. So
it's very dangerous.
Yes, yes. You're going to give naloxone after you call 911, and naloxone, again, is an injection, and you have the vial and you have the syringe. You're going to put in a big fleshy muscle. So that's the arm, the thigh, or the booty. These syringes are huge. The tips are big, so it can absolutely go through like cloth, cotton, like what we have on. So if you can't get the person's sleeve up, or if you can't get them rolled over until their buttocks is exposed, you can still do like the thigh or the arm. Yeah.
Is there like a certain amount of force you have to use, or?
You just want to make sure you get it in there, and you just draw the syringe up after it. So these are pretty cool. They're already pre-measured. So this is the amount that will be needed. You pop off the orange top. You stick the syringe in, you drop all of this medication because it's already been measured. You just want to maybe check for air bubbles, but you don't have to worry about measuring on this syringe. You're just going to draw all the medication up out of this vial. Again, the thigh, the arm, the booty, and you put the injection in. You're going to wait 2 minutes, and in those 2 minutes, we always tell people to give rescue breaths. Rescue breaths are important because the overdose from opiates causes respiratory distress. So that means the individual is not breathing. So rescue breaths are more important than anything at that time. And we tell people if you don't have naloxone and you've already called 911, you can spring right into rescue breaths. And that's something I think it's important for the general public to know. People who may not have naloxone on hand, it's very important to give rescue breaths until naloxone can be administered. So, in the event you have the naloxone and you've already given one dose, you give rescue breaths for about 2 minutes. If the person still does not respond to a sternum rub, then you can give the second dose of naloxone. This is why we put 2 doses in each kit. After the second dose, you still want to give those rescue breaths and wait 2 minutes. If the person needs a third dose, hopefully you have another kit. In the event you don't have another kit, if you call 911,
hopefully they'll be
there by then, and they have plenty of naloxone.
Okay, gotcha. And that goes for all of our EMS in Wilmington area?
Most of them, like this is the climate right now in Wilmington.
Definitely.
Yeah.